Stratasys 3D printer, such as the Mojo, Uprint, or Dimension? And are you tired of having to replace their build trays after each and every print? I'm going to show you how to reuse these build trays in 3 simple steps. To do this process, you will need a build tray, a glue stick, transfer tape, some type of card or squeegee, and either a popsicle stick or a tongue depressor. Step 1 is just to generously coat the build tray with the glue stick. Make sure you get all the way around it, all the surface area. I recommend you go in multiple directions, maybe circles, just to make sure you don't miss a spot. Also, make sure you get the left, right, and front edges as well. You do not need to get the handle or the back edges. Step 2 is applying the transfer tape to the build tray. Now, transfer tape is not masking tape. It is a little bit thinner and can also handle heat more than masking tape can. I have a link in the description where you can order the transfer tape from, and I recommend you order tape that's the width of your build tray. So for example, I'm using a 5-inch roll for my Mojo tray. Now what I'm doing right now is applying some transfer tape just to my table surface, so that way I have a good solid hinge while I'm actually applying it to the tray. After putting it onto the table, I'm going to peel it back a little bit, slide the tray in place, make sure it goes over both edges, and slowly apply the tape to the surface of the tray using the squeegee. Once you get to the handle, I do typically go over the handle, but it's not of the most concern. Then you just want to cut the excess tape and really ensure that the tape is nice and on the tray. You want to actually cut around the handle so that way you can wrap the tape around the sides. And the popsicle stick is to actually push into the grooves that Dimension or Stratasys uses on all of their build trays. A really strong bond is crucial, or else you will have bubbles and the raft will not be solid when it prints out. Step 3 is actually installing the tray into the printer. Now notice I left excess tape off the front and the tape behind the handle. That's because we actually want to wrap the tape around the print bed so there's no seams that air can blow underneath. So I'm simply just going to pull back my tape and insert the tray. Once the tray is inserted, I'm going to wrap the tape around the metal actually stand in here. The back piece could be a little bit difficult to tuck around the fan if you have the Mojo. The Uprint and Dimensions have slightly different interiors, but as long as you get the tape all the way around and actually stick it onto the metal surface. Once it's in there, go around with your fingers just to ensure that the edges are tucked in. Just going to go in there with my squeegee, make sure there's no air bubbles, that I didn't miss anything. Go around the edges, make sure everything's tucked in nice and tight. If any hot air blows underneath the tape, it will cause it to lift up. So it's important that you have a very strong bond. Lastly, we just put more glue on top. So I'm going to go in with my glue stick and again generously apply it. There you go.
It has taken me months to find this perfect 3-step method that I'm pleased with. Before developing this method, I originally tried using just the glue stick spread on top of the build tray, and while my print stuck perfectly fine, it was still extremely difficult to remove from the tray, and it left extra raft, so the tray actually was not reusable. I also tried using just transfer tape, and if you don't use glue in combination with transfer tape, the transfer tape actually bubbles and begins to lift, causing an uneven raft and a failed print. Once your print is complete, it's time to remove the build tray from the printer. Now, as I peel the tape off from underneath the metal support, it's important to remember that these parts are typically hot, so ensure that you remove the tape carefully. Once your tray is out, it's just a matter of peeling the tape off of the build tray and removing the part. Now, depending on how much glue you use, it might be a little difficult and everything might be a little stiff. After some peeling and twisting, everything should peel right off and your part should pop off as well. Don't be shy, it's okay. Remember, we are going to have to, of course, throw out the tape and apply new tape each time, but the build tray will be reusable.
3 easy steps to reuse your Stratasys build trays. Now after you do about 30 to 50 prints, glue actually builds up on the tray. Simply take the tray, put it in the sink, wash it off with some hot water and soap, and it's as good as new. I've been using this tray for over 200 prints now without reusing a new one. Thanks for watching. Happy printing.